Easter decor like I do, you're gonna need this carrot door spike. It is so cute and easy to make. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is start with 3 flowers. I've already bound them. Well, this one's not but I've already bound them here. So we want 3 with 1 down a little bit further. Then we're gonna take 1, place it right underneath this one here. And then I have 4 that I've already put together. And I kind of like made them, you know, like up, down, right? I can't think of the word right now, I'm sorry. Anyways, we're gonna move these up like this, and then I'm gonna use electrical tape. Cut me a piece off. And I'm just very loosely binding these together so that they will stick. And again, here, this is going to form our base, so everything is going to stick to this, and this part will hang down like this. So we have 3, and then I put 1 in the middle, and then 4, and then we're going to have 6. I believe it's this one. No, I believe it's this one. Normally I would have all the pieces already sized and loosely formed. That way it's easier for me to put together. But for this tutorial, I was leaving it open. We want it to kind of sit around it like this. We can move these out, that way it's not so tightly. We don't want them real tight knit. We want them a little bit loose. Some of the greenery to show. Another piece of electrical tape, and we will, let me move this so you can see, bind this one. I like electrical tape versus floral tape because electrical tape, first off, you're not going to see the tape anyways. If you were to see it, I use the electrical tape, and then I'll take the floral tape and wrap it around if I think it might be seen. But in most cases, it's not seen. So this was, let's see, this was a 6-piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6-piece on top of there. Kind of get them the way that you want them. That way it kind of looks, you want it to kind of look like a carrot, right? Then I'm going to take another 6-piece that I've already kind of, because you want to figure out which ones, how you want your zigzag to go on your layers before you tape them, like bind them together. So we're gonna do this one, kind of pull these out some, and then we'll put another piece of electrical tape. So far this is what we have, and after we get these all together, we can move them around and make them look not so flat, but right now they look flat just because, you know, we have to get them bunched up and together first, and then we can work on the fluff and the flatness, right? So far this is what we have. So this was what is going to hang up against the door. Then, so I pre-done these just so that this video wasn't forever long. And then we'll do these ones. So I want one here, and then I'll want one here and here. So 1, 2, 3. I think we're going to do 8. There's 4, maybe 7, right? 7 on this one. There's 5. do 6. Yeah, 7. So that's 7 on this one. I'll have to get a longer piece of electrical tape. And the easiest way to do that is to go ahead. This is why I like electrical tape versus the floral tape as well. We'll go ahead and get them stuck real good on there. And then just flip it over. We'll do the same on this side. Come back around. So there's that one. And like I said, we'll have to do some shaping when we're done, but for now, it's looking good. I am also going to take a small piece here so we can find these ends there. We want the ends to stay together because each layer will attach the next layer on top of this, and it'll all, instead of using like a form base that you can kind of, this one you can kind of manipulate. So this time I think we're going to do 7 more. So this is our last bunch of flowers. So we're just going to kind of place them, just kind of look and see kind of, you know, where you want to place them. Since it's getting quite big down here at the end, I will place these where I want them. Put a piece of tape on them loosely at the ends here, see? But that way they kind of hold together. Put this one in here. Maybe up a little. Do that one. Place this one here. And we're going to place this one here. So now we can tape that to the rest of the bunch. Now that we have them all together, we need to fluff them and kind of maneuver them. But before I do that, I'm going to take a long piece of electrical tape and wrap it around. Now this one may or may not be seen. I may wrap this one actually. And then we're going to have to cut these stems off right here. So I'm going to try to figure out how much of the stem we're going to want to leave on, how much we want to leave off, and just like the electrical tape is just like the floral tape, for a tighter squeeze, you know, pull the tape a little more. And then all these pieces here, I'm going to start turning them up and clipping them. This. And I have a lot of people ask me where I get my clippers, because apparently they have bought clippers, wire clippers before. They're not anything special. I buy them from Harbor Freight. They're not like I don't even think they have the brand on them. I just get them from Harbor Freight. They're pretty cheap. They're like, I don't know, $4 or $5. So now that we have that, we can start fluffing. Just kind of pull, tug a little, make it come out this way. I'll make them come out this way a little more. I just want to slightly tug on them some. Okay, and I'm the world's worst. I will sit here and fluff and fluff and fluff for hours. I'm going to try to not do that in this video, but so far, this is what we have. And that is our base of our carrot. Alright, sorry, my light turned down for some reason. Okay, so we're going to push this to the side for now. And then we're going to start working on our greens. The greens will go up on top, and then a bow will cover. So I have already, I didn't have any twigs like this, so I kind of had to make my own. I've made one like this. I just took several pieces off, cut them, bound them together. And then I had these twigs, which I'll show you what these are here in a second. I have these twigs, and I had some floral stems like this that I had cut off from a previous project, and they kind of look like this. These are the pieces that I had, right? They were individual pieces, so if you don't have exactly what you're looking for, this is the stem, and I cut it to size, and then I just feed these on there like this, and I put that one. So one by one, I kind of feed them and force them down ways because I kind of want them to go a little naturally down. There's 3. Here's 4. 5. 6. And 7. Then once I get to the end, how many I want on there, I take my pliers and kind of make a little loop in the end, pinch it so it kind of looks like this. That way I don't have to use super glue. I really don't like relying too much on super glue and stuff like this, but super glue, if that's what you have, that would be fine. Also, you don't have to put them on a twig like this. You could just, let me see if I have a couple of them in here. This is kind of what they look like. You can always use tape or hot glue, and you can hot glue them down, you can hot glue them together. I like mine bunched together because then I can control more of how much goes in each area. Or you could put a wire around them like this. Either way, that's fine. This is just how I was doing it because I will be selling this swag. So I want it to look better than something I would just put for my own house. You know what I mean? Like, if I messed up on my own project, or you could see a little bit of the greenery, then I'm wrapping it in trying to wrap it in floral tape. I think I got too much tape, but wrap it in floral tape. That way, in case it does get seen, you don't see that. Plus, it kind of holds it onto the wire. And then let me show you. So that's how I made my little twigs here of the greenery. And on this one, I took a ribbon and made a bow, made a loop and tied it off, cut the ends, and then I ran the pick through it. So this part here is actually the part that will hang on the wreath, if that makes any sense. And that's how I know some people use hoops or wire, but the wire rubs on the door, so I don't like to do that as much as possible. One less thing I can do to have that raw wire rubbing helps. So I'm going to start with the longer one here, which I will probably cut down, but we're going to start with this one. I'm going to put one here yeah, one here. Then I have these. I kind of, if you can tell, I have kind of angled them. So when they're straight, I just put a little bend in them, and then I'll line them up with where I'm wanting to stick it. That way it's not, I didn't want my wires crisscrossed. I want them to stay straight down this way so I can bunch them together. So here is my next one. It's the same size, same kind of curve in it. Then I have two smaller ones. That one's got a little bit too much curve in it. And then this one. And then I'm going to take some tape. And I'm going to stick these together because this will be my first bunch for my greenery for the top part. See, I wanted my stems to be more straight. My hands don't want to work today. I'm sorry, it's cold outside and I'm cold in here. Let's see what we're doing. Something's not lining up, I don't think. There we go. So there's that one. Then I will probably take the floral tape and like I said, I'm just worried about it maybe getting seen. I really don't think it will, but well, if I can get, I cannot get my tape and my hands to work at all this morning. We'll get this wrapped around there eventually. See, even professionals have bad days. We make mistakes. We just fix them. That's all. Okay. So this bow goes in the back. This is our front. We're going to take this one, and I wanted layered greens. I didn't want just, one. Anytime you can layer some greenery, it will make it look more realistic. It'll give it a more realistic look to it. So we'll do this one, and then one on top. So like this. And if I can get this held, I can get it wrapped. And I'm going to stick some more in there just for good measure. Like I said, this probably won't get seen, but because I am going to put this on Etsy, I want to make sure that none of that shows, and if it does, it just looks like a greenery. Instead of the black tape, I think the black tape would show a lot, but show up a lot more. We're going to cut these extra pieces off. Sorry about that. That was loud. Okay. I think I got my dog stirred up with that one. And then, you know, fluff, 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 and more fluff. So we're going to fluff these, get them spread out a little bit more. That way. And this is what we have so far. So without the bow, this is kind of what we're working with. So now we're going to attach this to the actual swag, and then we'll make our bow to kind of sit here. So we just got to make sure this is what it looks like from the side view, and this is what it's going to look like from the back. I'm going to place these right here. I'm also going to wrap a ribbon around this to keep these from rubbing on the door, so all this will be covered. And I'm going to go back to my good old electrical tape. I love electrical tape. I use it for everything. We are going to use this and some glue. Well, if I have any glue. We will attach this, and I'm going to wrap it to hold it steady while my glue dries. Alrighty. So this is what we have so far, and it will hang on the door like this. This is what it'll look like. We might bring some of these down some, actually, because we want it to kind of be fluff on the top. I use steam afterwards if some of these are curved to kind of move these around. All right, so here is our swag. I still feel like it needs to be fluffed, but don't do that. You fluff too much and get out of shape, but we're going to fluff it some more. And tulips are a little bit different than other florals that I work with to get them to kind of do what you want them to do. You want to, if you do twist them, you can kind of turn them. The tops looks a little bit more natural. There we go. And then just go back and make sure that all the ones that are supposed to be on top are on top. And none of them are getting stuck underneath. A different layer so that your layers stay true. Here we go again. All right, let's put this to the side. And get rid of some of this. And we'll work with our bow. So for the bow, I have several different pieces. This one is the main bow. It's 24 inches. This is my tail for my bow. It is 17 inches. And then I have cut a V in the middle. I've cut a V shape. The reason I do that is because if you make a bow like this, and then it hangs down like this, they just don't lay right the way I would want them to lay, especially if they're shorter. This is a really bad example because it's a longer bow and you're like, oh, that looks fine, but the shorter tails, it won't look as good. So if I do it this way, when I fold it, it looks more of like what I'm going for, if that makes any sense. So let's make a bow really quickly. Also, I'm sorry. Also, I have a 3" by 6" piece here. So 6 inches here, 3 inches here. This is going to go around the top to hide any blemishes. And then I have a 1" by 6" piece here to go around the middle of the bow. So let's get this started. And we use my Bodabra just because it's easier. I'm going to take my 24" piece and I'm going to overlap it about 1" worth here. And see if I can find the center. And I'm going to bunch it like, I bunched the bottom, so I want this one up, and then I kind of bunch from there, and then I want this one down, so it'll kind of look like this. I'm going to stick it in here to hold it. Forgot to put my zip tie in there, so now I have to feed it through. Okay, so there's that. It's a very simple bow. I put the zip tie in backwards. Very simple bow. I tried several different bows with this design. This is just the type of bow I liked. But you can use whatever type of bow that you would prefer. This is what I'm going to go with. And before I tighten it, there we go. All right, so here is our bow. This is what our tails look like. We'll fluff this out some. And I normally place glue here and glue here, or I'll glue them together like this. We'll figure that out here in a minute. And then we'll get some glue on this one. Oh, the tails are curly. Okay. So I'm going to tack this down a little bit more here with the hot glue. I'm going to use the other piece. I use the ribbon, the piece of the ribbon to kind of squish the glue down in there. Then we're going to cut this off. Over there in the trash pile. And push that down a little bit. And wait for that to dry. And then we will attach our zip tie. We can stay free. We'll attach our zip tie to the swag, and then we will put the wraparound ribbon around the swag all together. We'll put all this together and see what we got. All right, so here's our swag, or our swag, and here's our ribbon. This is kind of, I was wanting it to come down a little bit. We might have to find some greenery to stick in there, actually. No, I don't like it. Okay. Well, if I can find my other ribbon. Oh, let's pause this. All right. So I found my piece, it's right here. This piece will go around here. I've already seen a problem right here with the tape. I can see it through there, so we're gonna have to fill that with something. Something will have to go here. So, but for the meanwhile, we're gonna take our 3 by 6 inch piece of ribbon. I will turn this around so we can work with it here. I think I'm ready for a new piece of glue. I'm going to put a bead right down the center of that. Try to figure out kind of where I want the ribbon to sit. Then flip it over. There. Be a little generous with the glue on this part. That way it can stick. Throw these pieces away while it sets. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now we're going to take our bow and our zip tie and get it kind of lined up. I'm going to loosely zip tie that. That way I can make sure that the bow is where I'm wanting it to sit. For tightening, I have old hands, so I'm going to use my zip tie cutters and wire cutters, whatever you'd like to call them, to tighten this really good. There we go. Needle nose works better. So once we got a good tight sew on that, I'm going to clip it and try to move this, actually. Try to move that zip tie a little bit. There we go. More to the side. A little bit more. There we go. That way we don't have it sitting and rubbing on the door. There's nothing rubbing here. And then I will also get a piece of ribbon to go down here. Okay, this is just a scrap piece that I have measured the length here of where I kind of want it to sit, but I don't want it to be as thick. But instead of cutting it, if I place it like this, it was very cushiony, right, against the door. So I am just going to glue it over. That way it still has its cushion. The cushion effect, right? Oh, I'm gonna glue all over that now. Okay. And then, if I was making this for my house, for myself, I would leave it like this. I mean, I would put this, hang this up on the door. I might fix some of these. But like I said, if I was making it for myself, then I would leave it as is. But since I am putting on Etsy, I am going to make a backing for this and cover this. None of this though is rough, so all this would be fine on a door. I'm just doing this piece for visual purposes. So I'm going to take this piece and give it a liberal amount of hot glue there. I'm going to stick it up here and kind of wrap it around. And then I will put glue tacks in here just to kind of tack this down. Get all of our hot glue stringies off of there. And the last part is just fluffing, making sure everything looks good, making sure there's no hot glue stringies, making sure there's not anything else that we need to fix. Let me see. I do need to fix the ribbon here. I'm not done with that. And I need to fix this area right here. Like I said, if it was me, if it was just for my door, I would probably just leave it. But since I am going to be, this is going to be an Etsy piece, then I'm going to try to find something that we can do to cover that. That's that black tape. That's what I was talking about. I was kind of worried about. Sometimes it can be seen, sometimes it can't, but it can always be covered. Always can be covered. So I don't know if I need a reef stand. I don't know if I'm going to tack these together. I don't really like the way that looks. Or if I'm gonna, I can tack that ribbon down inside there. That way it kind of, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I need to do something. And then probably some more fluffing. But for this tutorial, I mean, it shows the basis of what it looks like, and then I will insert pictures at the end of the finished product, and then also it hanging on a door. So, but yeah, this is how I made my tulip carrot wreath. You don't have to use the same ribbons or the same materials, but I will list either in the comments or depending on what platform this is, but somewhere in the comments and the description, I will, if I remember, I'll make a list of the sizes, the number of tulips that I used, and then where I got the material. Some of the material, I don't know where I got it from. I'm just going to be honest. I buy a lot of material and I have ADD, so when I go somewhere, I think this ribbon I got at Walmart, maybe, Hobby Lobby, I don't know. But when I see it, I'm like, ooh, I like that, so I just buy it. But I know that I did get the tulips off of Amazon, and they are the PU rubber Real Touch tulips. And then the greenery is just stuff that I had, to be honest, this greenery up here, and the reason it was not attached to picks, it was not attached to anything, was because I bought a wreath off of TikTok. Don't mind the mess. Here's the size of the wreath. I would not recommend buying wreaths off of TikTok, but sometimes I buy them because not so much I want the wreaths, because I can't do anything with this unless I add on to like a Mickey Mouse wreath or something like that. But sometimes I want the greenery, and the wreath is so cheap that it's cheaper to buy the wreath with the greenery attached than it is to buy the greenery in the bulb as is. So these were the greeneries that were attached to the wreath. I could care less about the wreath, but I really wanted the greeneries. So that's why I didn't have picks for that. That's another thing that you can do. Sometimes it's cheaper just to buy, and I think I bought the wreath off of Temu. So it was like $2, which if you buy floral greenery and stems, you know that that's pretty cheap for greenery. That's one wreath, and I'll probably I just used some of it, so I can probably get 3 or 4 uses out of that greenery on that reef versus just going and buying the greenery itself. So yeah, I hope you liked my tutorial from how I make my tulip Easter carrot reef or swag. Yeah, I don't know, you can call them either one. Yeah, is it a reef? Sure. Is it a swag? I think so. I think it's more of a swag than a reef, but you know, it's definitely cute either way, no matter what you call it. Okay, so this is the finished product on a door hanger. I always find that it's easier to fluff out my florals, especially my reefs, and especially my swags, when they are being hung. Like I said, I know I need a reef hanger for my desktop, but for now, this is what I have, so this is kind of what I work with. As you can tell, in here, I did fix the gaps that were in there. Also, I have fluffed it out more, and I didn't know if I said this before, but I didn't cut dovetails or anything into the bows because I like that with the burlap, they naturally have that, I don't know, I like that curvy better. So I just left them uncut, that way that they would curve naturally like that. So that is the finished product.
Oh, look, it's my favorite person. I'm so